So you want to own the company that makes Oreo. You want to own the company behind Oreo. Okay, let's see if you still want that in 15 minutes. Because right now, somewhere in a boardroom, executives are looking at a number that should be impossible. 60 billion cookies sold every single year. 20 billion of those in the US alone. A snack so cheap, so simple, kids could make it in a home kitchen. And yet, the company behind it just told Wall Street something is breaking. Not a competitor, not a scandal, not bad management. Something smaller, something you've never thought about. Something growing on a tree thousands of miles away. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what that thing is. And once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. Let's start with the surface. Because on the surface, this business looks stupidly simple. Flour, sugar, cocoa. A little cream in the middle. That's the whole product. A kid could explain it in one sentence. But here's where it breaks. This is not a bakery. This is not a cookie company. This is 4 businesses wearing one costume. A commodities operation gambling on cocoa, wheat, sugar, and palm oil. A logistics machine moving product through dozens of countries. A flavor factory pumping out new products non-stop. And underneath all of it, a psychology engine built to make you crave something you've already eaten 1,000 times. 4 businesses, 1 cookie, and you had no idea. Now rewind, because the origin story is stranger than it looks. 1912, New York City. A company called Nabisco launches a new cream-filled cookie out of a factory in Chelsea. Cute story, sweet little beginning. Except it's not the beginning, not really. 4 years earlier, in 1908, another company already made this cookie. It was called Hydrox. 2 chocolate wafers, cream in the middle. Sound familiar? Hydrox came first. Oreo copied it. And here's the part nobody expects. The copy won. The original lost. Almost vanished completely. Why? Because taste wasn't the battle. Distribution was. Shelf space was. Marketing muscle was. Remember that, because it's the first big rule hiding inside this whole story. Being first means nothing. Owning the habit means everything. And it gets darker. Fast forward to 1988. Nabisco becomes the target of the biggest corporate buyout in history at the time. Wall Street firms circle it like sharks. They load it with debt. They nearly tear it apart. All because a boring cookie company generates cash so stable, so predictable, it becomes a target. A cookie, turned into a financial weapon. Keep that thought in your pocket, because stable cash flow always attracts predators. And that pattern is about to repeat, in a very different form, later in this video. Now, here's the part you actually came for. How does this thing make its money? Let's make it visual. A pack of Oreos costs the company pennies per cookie to produce. Cheap ingredients, cheap packaging. That same pack sells for $4 or $5 on the shelf. That gap looks incredible on paper, but here's where it gets interesting. That's not actually where the real money comes from. You'd think it's volume. More cookies, more stores, more shelves. That's part of it. But here's the real trick. Premiumization. Same cookie, same ingredients, just more cream in the middle. Double stuff, mega stuff. Costs almost nothing extra to make, sells for noticeably more money. This is where the money actually comes from, not the cookie, the illusion of more cookie. Then there's the flavor drops, weird collabs, celebrity tie-ins, a cookie made with a K-pop group, free headlines, free attention, basically 0 extra production cost. And here's a detail that should bother you. The parent company never tells you how much profit Oreo makes on its own. It disappears into one giant number, worth close to $40 billion a year, buried across hundreds of brands. Why hide it? Because if you saw how much of that number depends on one single cookie, you'd realize how fragile the whole thing actually is. One stumble on this brand, and the whole stock feels it. Now let's go inside the machine, because the scale here is genuinely insane. Picture this, not one factory, dozens scattered across the planet, each one tweaking the recipe slightly. Sweeter here, less sweet there. Different textures for different markets. And to make that simple little cookie, this company has to pull cocoa from West Africa, palm oil from Southeast Asia, wheat from multiple continents, sugar from global markets, constantly shifting in price. 4 separate, volatile, unpredictable supply chains, all crashing together into one small black and white cookie. This looks like a bakery. It runs like a chemical plant. And this is where the danger starts quietly building. Because every one of those ingredients can turn on them at any moment. But first, let's talk about why you crave it in the first place. Because none of this is an accident either. Twist it open, lick the cream, dunk it in milk. That ritual didn't happen by chance. It was engineered, deliberately, to turn a snack into a habit you repeat without even thinking. Then the flavors keep coming. Dozens of limited editions, released and quietly killed off every year. Not creativity, scarcity. A machine designed to keep you curious, keep you watching, keep you buying just to see what's next. And here's the twist. The actual cookie barely changes, decade after decade. Almost none of their innovation budget goes into the recipe. It goes into your imagination instead. You're not just eating a cookie, you're performing a ritual someone else designed, reacting exactly the way a marketing team predicted you would, years before you were even born. Now, here's where everything starts to crack. Remember those 4 ingredients? Cocoa, palm oil, wheat, sugar?
One of them just detonated.
Cocoa prices didn't rise slowly, they tripled. Between late 2023 and early 2025, tripled. Because of crop disease, brutal weather, and a supply crisis in West Africa most people have never heard of. The company came out and admitted it publicly. Unprecedented cost inflation, they called it. Their earnings took a real hit. Think about that for a second. A cookie company, brought to its knees, not by a rival brand, by weather, on a continent most of their customers couldn't find on a map. And here's where it gets sneaky. Instead of raising the price on the box, they shrank what's inside it. Fewer cookies. Same box, same price. Kept carefully under that $3 or $4 line your brain doesn't question. You keep paying the same, you just get less, and most people never even notice. This looks fine on the shelf. It is not fine behind the scenes. Add in the palm oil controversy, deforestation, labor criticism, a slow-burning reputational risk that never fully disappears. And at the corporate level, profit margins dropped by hundreds of basis points in a single quarter, purely from cocoa and shipping costs. Remember the hedges? The whole commodities operation we talked about earlier? Turns out those hedges don't protect you. They only delay the pain. And in 2025, the bill came due. This is where it starts to fall apart. Not because of a scandal, because of a beam. Now let's talk about who's circling this empire, waiting for it to slip. Store brands, Walmart, Costco, discount grocery chains, all selling near-identical cookies for less money. Same trap the pizza industry fell into when customers started buying frozen pizza instead of ordering out. Same fight, different aisle. Then there's the enemy inside the house. The same parent company also owns Chips Ahoy, fighting for the same shelf, the same wallet, the same 5 seconds of attention. And remember Hydrox? The cookie that lost this war a century ago and nearly vanished? It came back, quietly relaunched, leaning hard into nostalgia. Being first didn't save it the first time, but it didn't stay dead either. And there's a newer threat creeping in, a shift toward better-for-you snacking, protein bars, portion control, slowly chipping away at the impulse buy that used to be automatic. Now look ahead, because the risks stacking up aren't just about today. Weight loss drugs are changing how much people snack, period. That's a demand shock the entire packaged food industry is quietly panicking about. Sugar regulation is tightening, in the US and abroad. Pricing and labeling could look completely different in a few years. Cocoa volatility isn't a one-time accident anymore. It's the new normal. Contracts expire, prices reset higher, again and again. And selling in over 150 countries means constant exposure, currency swings, shifting laws, 100 different fires that could start at once. The thing that made this brand powerful is the exact same thing that makes it fragile. So let's go back to where we started. You wanted to own the company behind Oreo. Here's what you'd actually be buying. Not a cookie company, a leveraged bet on cocoa prices, palm oil politics, and human psychology, wrapped inside 110 years of brand trust so strong, people stopped questioning it decades ago. This company doesn't sell cookies for a living. It sees the same 3 ingredients 100 different ways at 100 different prices in 100 different countries, and quietly praise the cocoa market behaves. And never forget this, the better cookie already lost this exact war 100 years ago. Hydrox got there first. Some say it tasted better. It's still lost. Because in this business, owning the shelf beats owning the recipe, owning the habit beats owning the taste, and owning the story always beats owning the truth.